Hey y'all, I'm Atticus, a bookseller at Literati bookstore and the host for tonight's event. This evening, we are pleased to welcome Jonah Mixon-Webster at our At Home with Literati series in support of Stereotype. He will be in conversation with Taylor Johnson. For our attendees, the chat is closed, but I'll be dropping links to purchase Stereotype from Literati throughout the event. You can also use the Q&A feature on your toolbar to submit questions at any time. I'll ask a selection of them at the conclusion of this event. A reminder that you can shop for more books at literatibookstore.com for curbside pickup, as well as coming into the store. And now, allow me to introduce tonight's author and moderator. Jonah Mixon-Webster is a poet and conceptual sound artist from Flint, Michigan. Stereotype is his debut collection of poems. Originally published by Asada Press in 2018, the collection won the Sawtooth Poetry Prize, the Penn Joyce Osterville Award for Poetry, and was a finalist for the Lambda Literary Award for Gay Poetry. Jonah is the recipient of the Wyndham Campbell Prize for Poetry and his fellowships from the Vermont Studio Center, the Center for African American Poetry and Poetics, the Conversation Literary Festival, we're literary, and the Pen for Justice program. His work has appeared in the Yale Review, Callaloo, Harper's Magazine, and Best American Experimental Writing of 2018. Taylor Johnson is from Washington, D.C. They are the author of Inheritance, winner of the 2021 Norma Farber First Book Award from Poetry Society of America. Their work appears in the Paris Review, The Baffler, Scalawag, and elsewhere. Jonah is a Cave Canem graduate, fellow, and recipient of the 2017 Larry Neal Writers Award from the DC Commission of the Arts and Humanities, and the 2021 Judith A. Markowitz Award for Emerging Writers from Lambda Literary. They live in New Orleans, where they listen. Without further ado, I will turn it over to Jonah and Taylor.
What's up, Taylor? I'm so glad we got a chance to do this. I know, right? It's been a long time. I'm over here. Still hot. The energy is palpable.
So good to be with you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me celebrate you and with you. Yeah, it's good to be back in this space together.
Exactly. We started this this journey in 2015, probably earlier than that, right? As far as the craft and everything. But we met at the Callaloo workshop in 2015, where we were pretty much like together that whole those whole 2 weeks, immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And now we here.
You put me on a Nate Mackey, remember that shit?
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah, and the work, I'm just such I was already, a big fan of you as a person, just your spirit, your presence, everything, all the gratitude that you always bring into the space, all the love and care that you always bring into a space with everybody. But the work, I still think about the first time I heard you read those poems at Callaloo, and then when we did the conversation together, so when we were on tour, and then you did so that crazy set in New Orleans when you just smashed everybody open.
That was a good night. Yeah, it was a good night. Yeah. But it's mutual, you know what I mean? Like, I remember hearing you that first week when we went around. It was the first day we shared a poem in Bobby's workshop.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, yo, this is what language can do. And I wanted to know you as a person who made that, come out of his body. So I'm glad.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, for real. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't want to hold it up. So I'm, what I'm saying, I want people to hear this, this work.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna read some poems, and then you're gonna read some, and we talk. Since I quit that internet service, I'm thinking more about the transitive properties in books, the words, the palimpsest of images accruing in my brain, but more immediately the book in my hand, the cover worn at one end from sweat and gripping it when it comes close. Close as in when I stood up, let one deep exhale when I came to the lines of all fearless happiness from which reaches my life I sing and find it underlined by a beloved stranger. It's like turning the record over, knowing you're hearing what I'm hearing, easing up on the edge of the chair. It's like we're holding hands now at the edge of a white silence from which we are to make a music of our being here, of being moved, wherein our music complements and holds close each other's sound. Sound in the wet room of the tree I met you in. Nothing is said about the water or the fearless trees angled toward and against the light. Light that did fall on me, made much of me. Light that sings through me. So I'm singing Nocturne. What was rampant in me was not wisteria, perhaps decay or loss of reflection. No one like me gets old, or so I thought, even as I watched the days fade into each other. Was I no one? Which phrase means a grown up girl, mica gilded, pure myth, gone. Thoreau might say I was trying to find the door to nothingness, that the wild was already in me. However, I walked out my bed to find my skin only to return, moon drunk, bramble laden, stripped of sinew, a broken syntax. No denying how I got here. I laid down among the tall grass and came up a specter. I came up everywhere. My idea of abstraction is white lightning. Jack Whitman said that. Halfway between Gunyan and Ophelia, eminent splendor. It doesn't matter what I don't know. Clouds creating a blue fissure in the sky, whose grammar, whose sadness hurries forth. I want to speak to order, soybean, corn, wheat rose brown to torpor, mercy, protozoan, water shorn, hotly I listen in the pines for my green name. Whoever can stop reasoning, stop. Is it too much to ask to be remade? I, who've just begun, adagio of light, copper-hued diadem hanging on twilight's hymn, Virginia's sun, I'm yet released from the sharp language of being. Make me another by morning, lest I stay in this vestibule wholly unmade. Ecclesiastes, how to testify. In the marketplace where my voice was everything, was meaningless, knee deep in the mud with my tongue out, monsoon, mason jar, morning glory, must I carry even the idiolect of gravel, glossolalia and stupor of all things moving and unmoving. I fall in and I fall back out. Oh, exaltation! The Virginia pine grows straight up to deeper blue, and most taproots I'll never see. I was waiting for you to turn around, pretending none of this baffles me, not taking it personally. Whereas I've come into to talk with my shadow. From you, I've not hid my face. For in the morning I make and am made by you. Beautiful projection, boy in the mirror, boy in my mind. I separate my flesh from my flesh to become more like you, to drown in your holdings. O young lord of my desire, you are the light I ride toward, I run from. I eat less and avoid being hailed, anonymous interstitial prince of my undoing, redeemer of my yes. I want to grow into you and then abandon your imprecise naming. I am bequeathed violence, your inheritance, and your rough glamour. I am made to tarry here with you, thus illumined by your tenuous light. I forget about money watching the clouds over 8th and Ingraham. The clouds, a rhubarb colored ship in the sky. To my right, it all grays out. The bats emerging now from the chimneys. The bats listening for the cicadas' echo. Echo is a way to create space, is a metaphor for time. Time for the cop to move along. I think watching the cop watch me from my porch. Fuck 12. The robin on the wire vine, the wire eye competing with the bats for cicadas, the robin competing reds with the sky a money for the cicadas, a way to make space time, the cicadas sounding out the future through repetition. A friend says to spend nothing is to keep flexibility in your hands, to keep your youth. Money, the sound of decay, money, the repetition of waste. Black existential exegesis. This engine and cog business is wigged out. I want nothing we're owed from the ship gig, thence the land whereon modern sound weaned off our cowrie and cached aged conjure. Land whereon our woe is chic and wanted. Shout out to every nigga cajoled into winging it in a crowd, crowing about being the hewer and the hewer's subject. Oh, my aching chore choir due upon our ochre echo throughout this land, this cadence gag, our ego greeted upon and caged. Grace is our odd crowd which encores greened and geodes. Shout out to every nigga dodging age by ignoring human genre fiction gore. Ergo, we're nowhere, reneging on being owned and renewed, weighing nothing like race. Shout out to every nigga eroding off the edge of something else, gossamering the air. I'll just read a few more, John. How about that?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. There's gonna be some. There's gonna be some for the archive for real. You gotta do this.
Cool. This called Go-Go Ode. O capacious room, give me your tongues. I'm done with being self-possessed. Take hold, turn the river in me. I'm freed up to be anybody else. My molecules twinned with the sound. Oh, erotic hours pass me not. Keep me in the pocket. Oh, percussive descent devotion is anything you say go awry. In this early hour, keep me recursive. The impulse is to lose my feet. I'm yet overcome. You seismic drop, you sovereign fade. Oh, black chaos, I'm in study at your center. Turn me out. Found myself a clapper. It's a go-go song. Though I'm practical and will rather watch the room fill and fold like a black sea turning over. I'll be your disciple. I'll follow where you pull me with you. Walking before me makes me forget my creditors. Pressing up on me in the house party. Pressing on me so that I could be the wall, holding up the house with my desire violent pleasure, I welcome your weight. You asked me into study, pressing up like that. I work for your weight against me. I was saying something like, I don't care about commerce when you kept asking that narrow question about my body. Baby, I'm undoing myself behind you. You shaking down to what the drums give, and I found myself inside this homeless groove you can't name me except being given over to the usness we make for the next 90 seconds. Sometimes I feel so outside. Then you invite me in. This is how I keep time, and I keep to it. You inviting me in. Brooklyn poem. Love on the bridge. I can't stop singing about how clean you built me. Deny me again, love on the fire escape, saying, never mind, speaking low. If all this ends, let me say now that in my solitude I pace around the winter you press me up against my kitchen wall. You were an appeal to my loneliness. not its end. We swallowed the white light, chanted the same lament down. Love on the light bus, love holding my hand up Fulton, love giving me your cheek, letting my hand slip. I thought you came here with some music, some tending to. I wanted to burn money for you or with you. No matter, baby, immateriality is our ontological birthright. A hard cider, the light in my hands, then levitation. A kind of wildness descends, and across the expanse, the attendant wind drones its one feckin' song. When I'm so tender in the thick of rot, I let all the morning wet spread a plague across this threadbare vessel that holds in what hums, what rushes beneath. Give as the ground gives. Make of me your groveling tongue, your dust, your possessed, possessing, never let up. Thank you.
Yes. Jesus. Oh my God, I love you so much, Dan. Oh, goodness.
You like the third person who read my manuscript before it became what this
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. I was so honored. I'm like, goodness gracious. I can't do this shit. I'm like, I can't do like what, like those images, like, you know, everything just meld and fold together. I mean, it's just such a conversation you have with everybody in your work. And I mean, that shit is unmatched. It is really unmatched. A level of sentiment. I'm trying to see. I'm like, I don't even know where to start. I'm trying to pick up. Trying to pick up. Oh God, Lee. I think I'm gonna have to start from because I know I have to get this little piece out the way. Because if I don't, then it might not work well. So I'm gonna start with Black Ontology number 5. Black as if always the blues of a stridulated half note, night gristle, locust chirp, bow neck, wax lips, wet stain, a body thronged hard and buried in the open light. The root of it, dug up with the mouth, stretched, reaching to scratch the noose from its throat and give everyone a song.
Ain't nothing to do but hang around. Ain't nothing to do but hang around. Ain't got no way to make it out. Try to find me some help. No, I can't be found. So ain't nothing to do but hang around. Ain't nothing to do but hang around. Ain't even got me penny to make a pound. They about took all I had. Who am I now? Well, ain't nothing to do but hang around. Ain't nothing to do but hang out. If I could, I'd run right straight out of town. Don't even need me shoes, just feet on the ground. I ain't nothing to do but hang around. Ain't nothing to do but hang around. Ain't no news to think about. So I'm telling you later, I'm telling you now. There ain't nothing to do but hang around. Ain't nothing to do but hang around. Now imagine if they never would have cut me down. Say imagine if they never would have cut me down. I would have made it, I'll still be found. Feet on the ground, out of town. Could took a penny and make a pound. Out of water and underground. Said, tell it now that I'll still be found. Said, I'll still be found. Said, I will still be found. Said, I'll still be found.
I want to shout out to Angie Fisher and Dominique Jordan on vocals and flute for that piece, bringing that song to life. Black Existentialism number 12, The Bad Nigga Blues. Always I was a nigga, bad at it. I was always being a nigga, even when I wasn't, I was a nigga. Somebody's I was always bad at being, and even when I was a nigga, I wasn't. I was bad at being a nigga, though I wasn't. I was bad at being a nigga, even though I was a real nigga, or a bad nigga, or a bitch nigga, or a fag nigga, which I always was. Always been bad, always a nigga, though I was bad at it. I was bad. Nigga, I was always a bad nigga, kept me a hot nigga, always a nigga. It's always a damn nigga. It's always a nigga bad at it, and always I was a nigga, and always I was bad. And bad. And bad. Really. I'm a real nigga. Because all my niggas say I'm a real nigga. And I bet if you go and ask them niggas, they gonna point at me and say, that's a real nigga. Really though, I'm bad at it. I am. Really. Black Up His Team number 9. This is what I know about blood. That when I wake in it, my body turns to earth with its gnashing. That when it appears in my piss, all streams run silent. That when I find it in my hands, I cannot recall my name. Here, I offer you a truism. I am not speaking of a cut, nor the way my gut caves into a split to touch my back to some bullet, but of what remains in the image of loss. How it is signifier and referent at once, how it pulls from my unending mouth, how at this moment I am sitting in the mess of it, waiting for my own legs to stand. How I could leave it as a sign that still reads, nigga, you wasn't even here. You wasn't even here at all. In the figurative, I respond, man, this should be killing me. And these are the reports. All right, so look, this is what happened. Old boy knocked the local bread out of dude hand about the mini mart. These two niggas started arguing, and then old boy left, came back, and shot dude head off like 12 times. Nah, cuz, ain't nobody sit pretty with that shit, cuz. Right, but I was one who called old boy and then told him that dude was up at the store. Yeah, cuz, it was all over like 4 zips with some Kim dog, cuz. Right, didn't I tell you that? Wait, listen. I don't want them to do nothing to that boy mama just to get to him. That's my friend. She do my nails and shit. I would hate it. I would hate it. They killed his little sister the next day at the park. Right, they shot 4 people, cuz. Killed his little sisters, 2 little kids, and his brothers, cuz. I ain't hear about that. Or y'all ain't hear about that? Yeah, they blew that house up on Cherry Line too, cuz. Right, they blew Granny house off the fucking map. Shit ain't sweet around here, cuz. That's why I gotta be careful of who you touch. Right, these people got family and shit. It's getting ugly out here for y'all, Keontae. $100,000 wanted dead or alive. Right, I mean, you can see his body right there, cuz. Hanging. $100,000? The FBI, ATF, bounty hunters, goons, came to my mama's house. All of them said $100,000 if you find that nigga dead or alive. Shit, ain't you gonna tell on that motherfucking cat? Shit, hell yeah. Damn, they got the hood and white folk looking for the same nigga. All right, here go one of the new joints off the book, off the expanded edition of Stereotype that I feel some kind of way about. The Ghost of Richard Pryor made me do it. Peoria, Illinois. And like any other night, a white man sees me, seen him, seen me. I am again dead awake to the modes of awareness. And it was as if him seeing me meant seeing me naked. Black, obviously black, ostensibly black, meant seeing me, and I know what you mean already, and you know what I mean already. I mean, you know, I was probably wearing something real black, like something blacker than black, something like a black hoodie with a black V-neck under it, a black snapback and black jeans and black shoes, and seeing me and all of this meant he knew I was black. And I mean real black, naked black, obviously black, ostensibly black, and within proximity, black still says, hey, give me a cigarette, nigga. To his white friend with me in earshot chose to say, yeah, nigga, I mean, nigga, you know what I mean, nigga, nigga, to the extent I turn and while turning asked, why do you keep saying nigga so much? And I won't tell you what this white nigga said in response, but it was the stupidest shit I ever heard, I swear, and I won't repeat it, to which I tell him, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. I think you need to stop saying that. He says then swiftly, you can't tell me what to do, nigga. Nigga, come on, nigga. As if saying it meant seeing me black, naked black, obviously black, definitely black, unequivocally black, and crazy enough to choke the language out of his body. And before I know it, my hand finds the back of this white nigga's shirt, snatching it over into a cotton rope with the knot of a fist, a noose I tighten with every giggle from the crowd. Whew. How you doing? How you doing? I'm doing all right. I should probably. That's right. Put it together. Yeah, thank you. We'll do triptych in which the man is sometimes my daddy. In the first dream, the man runs past, dropping a black feather. He stops, turns back on his heel, leaning to pick it up, places it inside of my front pocket. My hands do not complicate the matter. In me is a hard edge clapped with rain. What I am, he says, is the thing he wouldn't have. When I pull it out, I am a fallow child. In the next dream, the man runs past, dropping a black feather. He is a crook and makes me swallow it. He opens his jean to the light until I bend, until he is well bricked inside the mouth that makes me. He swings my jaw with the bill of his hips. My head lies back into the knot. What is there causes me to look up, and I catch a dent of air in my chest. This is how I learned to say, water. In the other dream, the feather is a headless bird and I am face down on the bathroom floor. Nothing is lit. The man's face bears the shadow. He takes me by the meat of my collar, turns my ear over to say a quiet thing. In the next instance, he is the only one erect and the cutting opens a door in my gut, aping what's already in two. See, I'll do another one of the new joints. So this is a cipher in which I cannot say the gangster disciple in Boys Town for K. And I imagine saying even your almost name would channel your body back from this night. Off the hip, we broke necks, looking back from the curbs, lipping onto the crosswalk stage for two men making eyes at the other. The time of any man's gaze is telling. And this too we talk, leaving our boys behind to procure a seat on the steps of anonymity. In front of a stranger's house, you pull out and I do as you did. You tell me it gets fat. This too a mirage you carry, and through skin we become neighbors. But no, you are no fad. I call your name and your look is blank. You catch me stutter and step. You tell me you've made it. Tell me 26 in secret as if it were the winning number, as if with no logic, you touch me like you could already. You say, I used to be pretty. Said, man, not no more. And I want to sing it for you. About whatever and however you want. About the black tattoo tear water, about the body you caught on this night, about the love for your niece you tell of in the passing minute. And I will do this thing trying to save you with my mouth. With its mirror of color and code, you ask if I know, and I promise I know. You promise nothing. And what I do next is another defeat. Write this, knowing it won't keep you. Paranoiac number 5, hypomania. Everybody got a pistol. Everybody got a 45. And the philosophy seems to be, least as near as I can see, when other folks give up theirs, I'll give up mine. Gil Scott Heron, gun. The gun appears at a gathering of little niggas in my driveway. The gun appears with a pearl handle in silk and a lockbox inside my mother's headboard. The gun appears on the belt of a middle school liaison. The gun appears in leather atop my father's woven wood placemat. The gun appears tucked on the waist of my big brother. The gun appears with those other niggas at the mini mart. The gun appears as a shotty pointed before my windshield. The gun appears in the bando on the bend of its cushion. The gun appears stuck through the window of a Dodge, firing outside of paradise. The gun appears as signage. The gun appears soaking the lot with a steady light. The gun appears behind the bulletproof glass at BP. The gun appears in hand at the table of a drunk. The gun appears as a misfire. The gun appears at my boy's crib as a stick. The gun appears before the weather. The gun appears unbuckled on the officers who abound me. The gun appears in the basement. A father and his 3 sons fill 30 clips that hold 15 rounds each. The gun appears in double. The gun appears on a strap while my other brother eats a sandwich. The gun appears on the counter behind where I sit. The gun appears in the mind of my Uber driver having heard me make a clink. The gun appears loaded. The gun appears as a Warhol, a print tacked on the head of a shut room. The gun appears off another hip. The gun appears in front of the tiny air in my face. The gun appears as a joke. The gun appears as my fist and a hot mouth in no time. I think I'll wrap it up with just this last one. I didn't really read anything from the Flint section, the updated part. There's definitely his recordings already. Me reading from that part. Sometimes it'd be intense to read from, and I don't know if I do that, but I'm finished with the. All right, actually, maybe I'll do 2 short ones. Black on black stone under a white stone at the Cesar Vallejo. I would die in Flint in the early gloaming of a raid as blood honeys the fetid water. I would die in Flint in a handoff without witness on any night, perhaps this night. I am found with broadcloth over my teeth, a bagged object in clutch, empty water bottles at my side, a dingy horde of glooms, and whatever's left of my body will now enter the day rearward. Jonah Mixon-Webster is dead and weaponless in some nature. A fortuitous echo sucking air out, a shrunk mouth portal shrilling its sole evidence of event, a darkening, then all at once, snow. Excursus, a reverie. Light tricks itself from the rim of my sleep. A drink hangs my head through the gap of a thin bottle. As if for no ordinary reason, 2 blackbirds collapse into the hem of this horizon. Now the sudden weight of it, the thresh of my belly, blunt, puckered in the sun. With no hum nor cloud do I come to you, O object of your too soon body. O muscle of my timely end. If I had more in me, I would leave this thing here. The image that must cleave in its want, the weapon fully naked. In one lock, I would scissor off the part bit by the ill horse in the house of no wave, in the breach. My hair is comely still and made for a man's fist. The man knuckles a sea of feathers, gives to the fleshy knot, my bull nuts, my loose scalp. When it is over, we do not tarry in our language. The quiet flings itself like a bass head on my back. The memory is kept on a thread I pull to speak. That is an attempt to lose the man you know is everywhere. This is an attempt at a volta. Two niggas chase each other through a hedgerow where no one can find. Now, neither one is it. Thank you. Thank you. Whew, thank you, Taylor. Yo, this is so special.
Oh my God.
Thanks
I love
to
you.
Addict.
Thank you.
I love you so much too. I'm like, oh, goodness gracious.
I wish we could hug right now, you know what I mean?
I know, right? Like,
I mean, this shit is beautiful that we get to do this, but like that physical connection, it's like I just want to be close now and like.
I know, right? Like, just sharing all that, yeah, all that space and that energy and bringing that.
Exactly. Yeah. And I want us to be alive around each other, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was really important. Yeah.
I know, right? I'm just like dizzy at this point.
What's it been like for you? You know what I mean? What's this whole time been like? Cause your way of doing these things is so physicalized, and to have to translate that through the digital medium is like another level of exertion. I'm assuming on your part. What's it been like?
Yeah, so I appreciate that. Yeah, that's real. It's been like it has been exhausting. I hadn't realized, you know, like how much I'm demanding from my body to do this stuff and to do these performances. Like when I did those 3 back-to-back dates, I think I had like those 3 back-to-back dates when the Stereotype first came back out, and I was like, oh, I can never do this again. Yeah. Never do this again. But that third one, I was just out of it. I was like, you know, I had to realize like, you know, how intense it's been trying to embody all these different types of affects and feelings, like, you know, and perspectives, you know, writing hang around blues and, you know, taking that beyond, you know, because before that didn't exist in the first version, you know, so it's like trying to find ways to like go further and go deeper, or to like even become more embodied in whatever, like, I guess, you know, if you want to say like a persona or an identity, right, that the language comes from, or that the space it comes out of. Yeah, it's been kind of draining in the sense of like, you know, even like when I did that poem, I'm switching up voices, switching up characters, stuff like that. It's like sometimes I can forget who I am through the process. So like it takes a lot of just being grounded in and like who I am, right? You know, it's because, you know, I did another piece, another blues piece with Danny Boy, and like writing that shit was so sad. I'm like who, I didn't, you know, like this voice is coming from, I couldn't identify with it, but, you know, trying to buy some freedom, but the price too high, my change too low, had to sell my brother dreams down at the store. I tried to buy some time, but the price too high. My change too low. Had to sell my daddy watch down at the store. And like that cycle that I was kind of putting myself in, thinking about how this book required me to put myself in so much precarious, you know, situations, physically, spiritually, emotionally, that yeah, it's like being like finding some kind of way to hold my shit together, hold myself together, you know, like it's been a crucial thing.
Yeah. And I'm sure the other part of that is like, you know, on one hand, it's like what you're saying, you're reanimating the polyvocality that is inherent in Blackness, in this like particular Black experience in this country, in this land, in this time. And then on the other hand, it's like, I'm sure you're receiving all these questions that are like, okay, so what does this mean? You know what I mean? And it's like, how I don't know. It always feels curious to receive a question about, okay, what does this do? What does this cause? You know what I mean? But it's like, the essence of being with it is the thing itself. You know what I mean? And I wonder how you move through these things with your being and then having to translate that into someone else's being. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's some like, it's disorienting, you know. And I realized, like, you know, and I had to get to the point where I could just be honest about this and not even lie about it. It's a very spiritual thing.
Yeah.
It is very, very spiritual. It is real, like, communing with, you know, the ancestors, real life communing with ghosts, and like, you know, and really going to like that other side, and you know, trying to like have one foot in this world that's so like concretely and illusory, you know, like it's just these concrete illusions that we live in, you know, and living one foot in that world and one foot in this, you know, in this very, you know, it's just like the space of just energy, right? Just the realm of energy, you know, that has not necessarily been formed or shaped in these ways, but we just feel it, right? We experience it in the body. It's just as concrete, even though it's like a little bit more, you know, spectral, right?
Yeah. What I love about you, what I remember when we were first hanging out together, is that we kind of came into the same sentence, which was like, we don't know where this language is coming from in us. You know what I mean? I think as we develop, we can see that it is from, you know, all these ethereal presences, but that we were able to create this certain kind of time among us that was outside of the time that, you know, we move within normally. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I think language does that. Your language does that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, you know, like when it comes to like to these images and these experiences, right, that come out in your work, like, you know, I'm always, you know, like, you know, I want to go back to the line, you know, I don't want to fuck it up, but the, like, you know what I'm saying, like maybe maybe I am the wall holding up the house with my desire, you know, like how do you get that, you know what I'm saying, like how does that come to us?
Yeah.
Right, through your experience, right, you know, that kind of same process of translation. I was gonna, you know, even like ask you, like, how did you get to like being able to just capture these experiences and these, you know, these affects in such a way? Like, is it a kind of a like a reflection process, a process of reflecting, or is it a process of like of remaking the experience?
I think it's a little bit of both. I feel like I have to let myself dissolve, you know what I mean? Like there's a letting go of personhood, you know what I mean, to give it up to the idea that okay, language is gonna come through and like translate the experience through however it needs to come through, you know what I mean? But I think it's also like part of it is a reflection, but part of it is also like a re-seeing of the moment, you know, into this other way of existing, like refashioning the scene such that it can, you know, I can enter into it from the window or like from the corner door, you know what I mean? Instead of like kind of straight.
Yeah, that's
Like,
beautiful.
it gets wider too, you know what I mean? Like it can get wider if I let myself be open in that way. It can get really wide and like weird ultimately. Yeah.
That's a beautiful way to, oh God, that was just a beautiful response. It just kind of activated some stuff for me. I'm like, wow, that is how, yeah,
Yeah,
like that's what.
I mean that feels like, yeah, because it's like I gotta dissolve, I gotta let go. But it's all like, you know, in the service of this other thing coming through.
Right.
Oh, you hear me? I feel like I just
Yeah, I
froze.
got, yeah, you came, but yeah.
Bet. Yeah, I was saying I really, you know, like I identify with that precarity. You know what I mean? I think it's like interesting to be alive in this world and like be okay, but also know that like at some moments there's a precarity to what I'm doing because I'm immersing myself in this particular form of creating, like bringing things to creation. There's a level of precarity with the self in that way. Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, that's super real. I'm sitting, I was like, wow. You know, this is the kind of stuff that just makes you like really feel the world differently. You know what I'm saying? Like it just, you know, it's like, or like just seeing and feeling right and listening, you know, listening to the world differently, even singing to the world differently, right? And I think, yeah, I think that's really what has always inspired me, you know, by your work and your personhood, right? In this kind of sense, right? Is that constant reorienting to the world, but being very just observant into it, kind of, I don't say like not nebulous, but it's like, yeah, it's like that matter just becoming literally matter, right? And it's like and feeling the world as matter, feeling your way through the world as matter.
Yeah. But then it's like also a grief to come back into personhood, you know, which is like the encounter with a police officer, for example. Or like even that poem was making me think of all the times that I've felt a gun on me, you know, and what that means to be like, oh yeah, right, because I'm a body who is my body, you know what I mean? And like, oh, that means something to someone else that I don't necessarily consider all the time in my movement. I have like let go in some sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's completely, and I'm really identifying with that, because I'm realizing, like, you know, understanding like the same process. And I think that's probably how we kind of got to be like this, because like we kind of, we've been working in these similar modes, right? But yeah, I'm really understanding like my process now better, differently. This conversation. I don't know what time, if we should hit back to Atticus or not.
It is 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're good. We don't have any more questions in the chat. So,
all right, cool.
I'm just loving, enjoying listening to you guys. If you want to keep chatting for the next 10 minutes, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, how you feeling, Taylor?
I feel good. I wanted to know if there's anything that, like, in this time of figuring out your process, because I mean, shit, I don't have an answer to this question, but I wanted to know what you want for yourself on the other side, you know, because I don't know what to do for myself.
I don't know. I like, you know, it's like, you know, I could say I'm just, you know, trying to like always negotiate, right, between the two. Like, you know, how do I negotiate my, you know, between my spiritual self and my very physical self? Not that they are like, you know, apart from one another, but they are like in this weird kind of commingling cohabitation type thing, you know, in this, you know, this body, you know. but I don't know. I feel like letting myself know, or like that the weird shit that happens is like real, right? That you know, and that some of the real stuff that happens is actually not real. Like, or like, you know, and if that makes sense, like to be able to kind of go between that, you know, negotiation is like, you know, feeling like the unreal of reality, and then and acknowledging that, and then feeling like the real of the unreal or reality, you know. This weird kind of paradoxical negotiation where I'm like, you know, I really do sense something that's not here, or that I can't physically see, right? But then at the same time, the stuff that I do physically look at and see doesn't actually exist, right? So being able to like tune into like that feeling has helped ground my beingness, you know, in these different ways that allows for more possibility, I think, you know, like in some ways, like more possibility of understanding, like, you know, understanding like that go between, like when, you know, we kind of go and do that spiritual work where I'm, you know, I could be reading tarot, which pretty much means just like reading the spiritual weather, you know, when I'm doing reading stuff like that. I was saying earlier that I just gotta pray more, because I think the praying has been like I think I've kind of lost, you know, practice with, you know, in certain ways. But then also like doing the real thing, or doing like, I don't say the real thing, but like doing, like if I'm like just like writing, you know, maybe little meditations, or writing down, like trying to manifest stuff, right? You know, that has always been like practice, I think, that lends itself to producing, right, the poetry and the work. And it's like thinking about how many iterations of the thing I can do. Like if I have one poem, I want to see how many iterations it can exist in, you know. And I think that's kind of what has helped to ground me in this cycle of, you know, the physical, spiritual, you know, like negotiation or go between. If that makes any sense, does that make sense?
It did. So it
I don't know
really
what the
did.
hell I'm saying.
Yeah, no. It made sense, and I think it. What makes me think about something that I was thinking about earlier today, which is like every moment that has ever existed is also right now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This second is all that we have. This is also the past and the future right now. And that like the idea of, you know, things moving is like we can make things move because every second or everything that's happened is happening right now, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really dope. And you know, it makes me think about, you know, the line in your poem, if you were here, I would pass you the J. And like that shit used to make me feel like you just did, right?
Yeah.
It's like
I mean,
you know,
what's that? The technical term is like a perlocutory action or something like that, where you either do a thing, you know what I mean? Or like
yeah.
I'm always trying to get at that sense because it's like, yeah, I really dig the idea of somebody taking in words on the page, you know what I mean? Like reading is great, you know what I mean? But what is it? How does it make you move? You know what I mean? Because that act is like it can be one of one, but how can I make it one of two? You know what I mean? Which you actually think
Right.
about what you said of like how can you extend the idea or the notion of the poem into something like renew it again. I'm thinking right now about these blueprints I'm about to start making that kind of mimic the uh, sonic liberatory quality of go-go music and like the poetic syntax kind of present in
Yeah.
the music and in the space, you know. That's like a key to how we can move as people, you know what I mean?
Right.
The space being
Right.
both charged and also like participatory in that way. Yeah,
That sounds gorgeous.
I'm
Sounds
excited.
brilliant too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm like, and I just like, okay, I had to look that up.
I just
The
learned this shit. Don't
locutionary.
yeah, perlocutionary action. I think it's like something that you like, you know, you pass this idea to the reader, you know what I mean? And they are
Right.
thus moved to change or to move themselves in some way. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. No, that's great. That's beautiful. Yeah, and I'm like, yo, that's the yeah, that's it. That's the goal, right? That's the target, right? Is you know to right. And it's like I'm curious about like the language. I'm just like looking at some definitions or descriptions of it. It's like, is it a persuading or is it like an actual thing that makes something real happen?
Right.
You
And
know,
yeah, I can't, I don't know. You know what I mean? I think
right,
that's where I'm like, I really don't know because I think language, of course, is on a level can be persuasive. You know what I mean?
right,
And you know the connection between like grammar and glamour. You know what I mean? Something that
right.
you kind of spell into someone. Yeah, I don't know. What you
Oh,
were
that's
saying
great.
earlier makes me think of in France, the Rodin Museum, and you see his
Mm-hmm.
sculptures. All his sculptures, there's like a foot on the ground and one foot is lifting off. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, wow.
Like they're here, but they're like also felt by this other realm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that so much with you. You know what I mean? You're here. I can see you here. I can feel you here, but it's like you're also being pulled in this other direction. And I don't know. I just want to say for the record, for history, that like it's appreciated. Thank you for taking
Sure.
that into your body. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Likewise. You know, because you know, I think that's also why I'm sitting there. I'm like, wow, I am like just like still dizzy from that whole experience, you know, of our work kind of, you know, coming together in this way and coalescing. Um, and it definitely has been you know, a long time that we've been definitely at it now. You know, we we are here in this thing.
Mhm.
We getting at the thing we've been trying to get to.
Trying to get to it. Yeah, and I appreciate. We've been running. You know what I mean? We've been running.
Yo,
It's
bro.
coming. Yeah, we coming close. We at it. You know, it's closest still. Yeah. So thank you. Thank
Exactly.
you for
Thank
always
you.
listening and all that. I love you so much, Jonah.
I love you too, Taylor. Yo, I just thank you for joining. You know what I'm saying? I know this is super last minute.
Oh no.
We put together, you know,
Yeah,
but
you
no,
family.
this is gonna be. I know, right? All right.
I'm gonna see you though.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when I come up to New York,
All right, bet.
or I could be in Well, you say you moving to Virginia, right? Yeah, that's right there.
Yeah.
Word.
Well,
Anywhere
thanks,
I'm at.
y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You can keep
No,
going
you're
if you
fine.
want to.
It's all good. Yeah. You good
Yeah,
at it.
yeah. I'm just wrapping up.
I was just gonna say we're at the top of the hour, but thank you guys so much. This has been an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you to
Yeah,
everybody else who's gonna watch, just at home with Literati. Thanks to everybody. Make sure to buy Stereotype. The link's in the chat.
But
And inheritance. Definitely get that inheritance too, yo. Like, yeah.
yeah. Inheritance.
Inheritance.
All right.
Well, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you.
Peace.
Take care. I can't wait to watch this back.
Yeah.
Thank you.